What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, I've been thinking about these players a lot. I got a list here of 7 guys, and I cannot stop drafting them in best ball. I will be drafting them heavily in my redraft leagues this year. And so I wanted to make sure and give you guys this list and let you know why I'm so high on all these players. So the first player on my list is going to be Amari Cooper. Now, this is a guy who is notoriously going off in like round 4 of underdog drafts. On ESPN drafts, he's going a little bit later than that. He's slipping to round 5. This is a guy who is the wide receiver 1 in his offense every year, no matter what offense he plays in. That's been the case his entire career. And we're looking at a guy who is inevitably going to have a quarterback that's pretty good at throwing him the ball. I mean, Deshaun Watson was hurt last year. I'm giving him a little bit of a break. Is he the Deshaun Watson of old? Maybe, maybe not, but we do know that he can certainly support a wide receiver 1. Amari Cooper will have very good numbers as long as Deshaun Watson plays. And if for whatever reason Deshaun Watson underperforms or gets hurt again, he has freaking Jameis Winston as a backup quarterback, and we know he can support wide receiver 1s, whether he's a good real-life quarterback or not. Remember the days with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the numbers that he produced for them. So no matter what, by default, Amari Cooper, based on his talent, based on the role in his offense, based on the quarterbacks he has throwing him the ball, should smash his ADP. He's great for best ball because we know that he has a tremendously high weekly ceiling. We saw it in that performance last year where he had like 46 points for a half PPR format. He absolutely went ballistic that week and set a Browns record for, receiving numbers in a week. Point is, he's great for best ball. He's great for redraft, but you do need to know when to play him. There might be some weeks where you have him on your bench. He might not be your everyday set it and forget it starter wide receiver, but he's a really good number 3 wide receiver for your team. And that's about where he's going in the draft. So I think based on value, this guy's going to smash. Next player on my list is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. Now, this is a guy who obviously we need to see him have a bounce back because, he just wasn't very good last year. That being the case, Antonio Gibson being the backup running back, I'm not too sold that Antonio Gibson is going to do all that much in this offense. I know that he's known for being a pass-catching back, but Ramondre is going to soak up 80% of the targets in this backfield. We might even see him line up as a wide receiver and run routes. He has that kind of ability. He's a tremendously efficient rusher. I'm chalking it up to last season, the Patriots just being a very bad offense. I think the offense should be inevitably improved with Drake May. We've got some receiving weapons now. I mean, we don't have any superstar wide receivers on this team or anything like that, but we do have a balanced wide receiving core. We do have good wide receivers. We have a massively improved quarterback situation no matter what. There is no version of Drake May not being better than, Mac Jones. I mean, there's just literally no way. If he's an average NFL quarterback, the offense should improve drastically. I like the offensive improvement for the Patriots this year. I think that we see a huge bounce back this year for Ramondre Stevenson. Next player on my list is going to be Kyler Murray. Now, this is a guy who, why in the hell is he going in like round 8? Why is he going as the quarterback 8? It is mind-blowing to me. This dude has not been worse than the quarterback 6 since stepping in and being in the NFL. He had one kind of bust season where he was a quarterback 20-something, but that was because of injuries and not playing the full season. If he's played a full season, he's been a top 6 quarterback every single year. You look at the deep ball efficiency metrics, this dude is literally hands down the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. I know that that's hard to believe, but based on statistics, it will tell you that he has the most accurate deep ball in the entire NFL. Now we add Marvin Harrison Jr. to the offense. We have Trey McBride in the offense. We know that he has tremendous rushing upside. My gosh, this guy's going to smash his ADP. Next player on my list is going to be Terry McLaurin. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that pretty much every year I've told people to fade Terry McLaurin. And I've been right. He's never been a top 20 wide receiver as far as fantasy points per game in his entire NFL career, despite having tons of promise based on his talent. But he finally has a freaking quarterback. This is what we've been waiting for Terry McLaurin. It's a shame that it's coming when he's approaching 30. I wish he had an elite quarterback at age 24, 25, but it just wasn't the case. That being said, we know this dude has all the talent in the world, world-class speed, great route running abilities. This dude is a tremendous NFL wide receiver. We've just needed to see him have a quarterback. He now has a quarterback. I'm very excited for this Washington offense. I really think that they have some serious upside this year. And now that Terry McLaurin has a quarterback throwing him the ball, I finally say let's hit the Terry McLaurin button. You can get him in round 4. if you're talking about your ESPN redraft leagues, you could get him in like rounds 5 or 6. I think he's actually going to be a steal this year for the first time ever. I think Terry McLaurin is going to return value and actually outperform his ADP. Next player on my list is going to be Cooper Kupp. Now, this is a guy who, just 2 years ago, right, was on pace to, for the second season in a row, just absolutely smash the history books as far as fantasy points per game and overall fantasy output. We saw him have the best wide receiver season of all time back in 21 with 1,900 plus receiving yards. This is a guy who we know has tremendous upside. That being said, he's been a little bit injury prone in recent years. He's definitely getting older. Now the wide receiver one in the offense, according to most people, is Puka Nacua, although this is not necessarily set in stone. We have to remember that Cooper Kupp was injured a lot of last season, right? So, even when he was on the field, he wasn't even remotely 100%. So I think the biggest thing we have to monitor with Cooper Kupp is he healthy going into the season, right? Because when this dude is healthy and him and Matt Stafford are both 100%, there's really not just a certainty. There's not really a guarantee that Puka is just going to blow Cooper Kupp out of the water as far as fantasy output. These guys could still have very similar numbers. And, there's an outside chance that Cooper Kupp has more fantasy points at the end of the year than Puka Nacua. That is in the range of outcomes. Okay, this is a 1A, 1B situation. It's not a Puka's the 1, Kupp is the 2. A lot of people are thinking that based on what we saw last season, but again, Cooper Kupp was hurt. You can get this guy in round 3, and he has low-end wide receiver 1, even mid-range wide receiver 1 upside. I love the value for Cooper Kupp right now. He's going to smash his ADP as long as he's healthy. So let's hit the Cooper Kupp button. Next player on my list is going to be Derrick Henry. Now, people are going to be very concerned about this guy's age, but he's shown to be an anomaly and really just pretty much destroy Father Time. He's supposed to be falling off a cliff. He was supposed to fall off a cliff 2 years ago. How long can he break this cycle? But look, he's on a Ravens team who, despite having, 3 new offensive linemen, are going to have inevitably a better offensive line than what the Titans have had over the past 3 or 4 years. The Titans' offensive line was the worst offensive line in the NFL for several years while Derrick Henry was running behind it, and he was still smashing expectations, right? So based on this guy's size, we know he has tremendous breakaway speed in the open field. He's playing on an offense that now, look, he's never really played with a mobile quarterback, right? So, we now have him playing with Lamar Jackson. When teams have to account for the threat of Lamar Jackson running the ball, this is going to make Derrick Henry absolutely and utterly unstoppable. This dude will average more than 5 yards a carry in the Ravens offense this year. He has tremendous touchdown upside due to being in an offense that's going to be good. This dude could absolutely very well explode. All reports coming out of camp are that he is going to be an absolute volume hog. They brought him in for a reason. If this dude sees 20-plus carries a game like he was seeing in the Titans offense, well, a lot of times in the Titans offense, he was seeing like 28 to 30 carries a game. If he gets 20 to 22 carries a game in this Ravens offense, he's going to go absolutely ballistic. He's going to break fantasy football, assuming that he has any tread left on the tires. I'm betting he does. I think we need to smash the Derrick Henry button this year. He's going in round 4. The upside that he has, considering the players he's going around, is tremendously higher than all of the other players that are in his range. We've got to draft Derrick Henry. Next and final player on my list is going to be Patrick Mahomes. This is a guy who, obviously, best quarterback in the NFL, primed for a bounce-back season. He finally has 2 speedy wide receivers. Again, this is what we needed to see last year. The number 1 wide receiver in the offense, Rashee Rice, was kind of not really a check-down option, but he was a run-after-the-catch kind of guy. He wasn't really running a whole lot of routes downfield. He didn't really come on until the second half of the season. So now that we have receivers that can actually stretch the field, and Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown, tremendous speed on the outside. We know that Pat Mahomes is one of the best deep ball throwers of all time. This is going to be a big play offense once again. Patrick Mahomes is going to bounce back from a fantasy perspective. Keep in mind, he still has Travis Kelce. This offense is loaded. I'm excited to see what they can do, and I think that Pat Mahomes is going to bounce back in a massive way. Him going off the board in round 4, round 5 is an absolute joke. This dude is going to smash his ADP probably harder than any other player I have on this list. He's one of the absolute must-own players in fantasy this season, so hit the Pat Mahomes button. All right, guys, appreciate it. Catch you later.